Hello and happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to this year's first episode of Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. And folks, as expected, we have one heck of a show. Now, as you can see, folks, we have Web Dave here. We have Fuzzy Belvedere. We don't know where Dreadpool is. I don't have my phone in front of me, so maybe he messaged us and he's going to be a little bit late. Sometimes he gets stuck at work. I did send out a link to a few people. Crispy, I know you're in the chat. I don't know if you're working, but if you're not and you want to jump in for a bit, brother, hopefully you're feeling better, much better because he's been under the weather to join us. We have an awesome show for you. 4 banger topics, as the kids like to say, one of which is going to be the opening salvo, folks. Guess what? The PlayStation 5 melting from the inside. Good. And probably should have been a recall. I have a little joke that I will say. One of the things that comes to mind right off the bat is, how come the big sites are not reporting on this? I wonder why that is. I don't know. It's silly. I did see the report first from IGN India, not IGN proper. So shout out to our brothers and sisters over in India who reported on this first. I think everyone should have been reporting on this because Fuzzy Belvedere has something he wants to say about it. I'm not going to steal his thunder with this because he said something in the green room that makes a lot of sense. But Web Dave, how the heck are you, brother? Happy New Year. Obviously, we hung out on Monday, but welcome.
Buddy, I'm here, man, and it's going to be a good day. Good topics, good stuff going on, and man, I mean, people are saying that the PlayStation, those sales are on fire, but I didn't know they meant it literally. Just saying, I knew it was a hot product, but come on. Yeah. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, that's actually really good. It is hot. It's a hot product, folks. They sold 30 million of those bad boys in so far in the the generation that is going to be, I don't know, just about 2 years, a couple of months. That's pretty impressive. But that's
it'll be a class action lawsuit.
I have some questions because I enjoy tech, but I'm not a technical guy. I think I put that out there in the socials. But Fuzzy Belvedere, how you feeling, brother? Welcome. What a funny way to open the show. Sony closed out their CES with some big news. I obviously congratulated them not only getting the 30 million, but they have an adaptive controller coming to market. I think that is incredibly important for the disabled community that now gets to enjoy PlayStation. I don't know how much it is. I couldn't find the price on it, but I would imagine that it can't be that expensive. But then again, it is Sony. But I do have to say that I am happy to see them join the conversation of allowing for disabled gamers to have as much fun as someone else. I think that is a big, giant step forward for Sony. I think it is a big deal. I know there's a lot of people that DM me like, hey, Boom, it's really not that big of a deal because my Xbox did it first, folks. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter that Xbox did it first. Yes, Xbox was leading the charge. And I love that about Xbox. That's one of the reasons why it's my favorite brand, right? Because of how inclusive they are. Everyone matters. It doesn't matter race, creed, sexual orientation, whether you're missing a hand or not. You're a gamer. You're important to the community. And that's why I love Xbox. But I know that the Sony kind of dragged their heels with it, but I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the fact that they did it.
Yeah,
it's done. It's coming out. So,
it's awesome to see that they stepped up and have it where now more and more gamers will have access to their games and things like that. So that's always cool to see. That the CES show was reasonable, not quite what I was expecting, but it was a kind of like an impromptu show with the VR and everything. But man, I'm so glad to be here, and these topics are going to be definitely some interesting.
Are they going to be fire?
Oh, sorry. Quite spicy, if you will. So let's open up with what's being reported, folks. Okay, so here's the thing: the PlayStation 5. I quite enjoy the system. I think it delivers on power. It may not be as powerful as the Series X, and we know that. I mean, just the stats speak for what it is. You know how I feel about the DualSense. I do quite enjoy it, especially playing games that are built around it, like Astro's Playroom, right? Like I actually platinum that game. That's how much I enjoyed it. Could not get away from it. Cannot wait for a second one to come out, which I believe that they are working on one. I believe actually working on like an official platformer as well, which I'm very excited about. But there are two ways to have this system on your shelf. One of which is vertical, which is the way I have it underneath my TV, which Mrs. Boom says it's ugly, and she's not wrong. Oh, Crispy Bomb 84 in the scene. What's going on, Crispy? How you feeling, brother?
What's up? Finally feeling the world premiere has returned. So
I love it. I love it. It's great to have you here, brother. I'm glad to feel that. How's the rest of the household, man?
everybody's getting better. Everybody should be back to normal next
good.
week. So thank
Good.
God, because I'll tell you, this one really kicked our butts. And hopefully, I'm hoping for anybody that really like it hit hard last time. Like, yeah, like mask up.
Yeah,
definitely
wash your hands, spray
Yeah.
your clothes with alcohol, wash it. Like me, I'm like a nut. I go around the house three or four times a week with spraying the handles with alcohol, wiping them down. Like it's crazy what I try to do.
Well, I'll tell you, like this one, like it's spreading like wildfire in my state. I'm in Connecticut.
Well, we're right next to you, brother. Right next to you.
Yeah, so half my department or the store was out when I was out. So
Whoa.
yeah, like it was, and we have like 200 people in the store, so it was
Jesus.
pretty bad. So, but feeling better, and
Good.
yeah, glad to be back, man. Glad to be back.
Well, you came back at a perfect time, because we were talking about the melting PlayStation 5s. We're going to get your hot take opinion on that. But listen, again, two ways to use your PlayStation 5. Horizontal, which is the way I use it, and vertical. And apparently, if you keep your system standing up, you are going to melt it from the inside via the liquid metal that is in there that's supposed to cool the system. This is not a joke. This is not a console war jab at Sony. This is being reported. I've seen videos. I've watched at least 6 videos with people showing the damage when they take the hood off and they're going into it. And you can see the splash damage on the inside. I'm going to go first to Fuzzy, because we were talking in the green room. Fuzzy, look, again, folks, I have no problem admitting that I'm not the PC guy. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not building my own PC, right? It's okay. I have limitations. I know I can walk up to the edge. I don't ever go over the edge because I understand what limitations are. My question to Fuzzy, who understands the building of electronics, I'm having a hard time understanding how this has happened. And how did Sony not know that this was going to happen? Because, you said something in the green room that I find to be very truthful. If this were a Microsoft product, IGN, Kotaku, GameSpot, every bell and whistle would have been rang in the industry to talk about a recall, talk about how dangerous the situation has become, and they would have logistically hung Microsoft by their Buster Browns the way that they did with the Red Ring of Death.
Oh yeah.
And this has the potential to be as big. We know that there's several redesigns coming. We know that there's a one that's supposed to be, I think, the C version that's coming, that's going to have the removable disk drive and all this, and they're going to redesign it. And look, how did this happen? How did Sony not see this, or did they see this and just pushed forward?
From what I've had to do in prototyping and whatnot, although be it automotive, still have to deal with circuit boards and testing, and there's a certain period of time that you'll run it for hours on end or put it through heat cycles and things like that. So I'm pretty sure they knew, especially considering how many redesigns they've done to the cooling system in just the first couple of years. There's like 3 iterations out there, so they knew at some point that this would happen. but they probably figured, and it's a calculated risk. I mean, if you look at it, I think pretty much all electronics, including like the Series X and the PS5, only have like a 90-day warranty. So they probably figured, well, as long as this can get us across the 3-year threshold, we'll it's one of those risks that we're willing to take, because no one's going to really force their hand as far as a recall if it lasts for 3 years, or the problems don't really start to surface until about the 3-year mark, because that's within reason for most electronics. The government would step in if it was like less than a year, possibly. When it gets to the 2-year threshold, some other countries like Australia would probably hold them to the fire. But if it can last about a 3-year period, which is kind of what some people were suspecting when they went with the smaller cooling system before, that it may not last as long. But in general, I'm pretty sure they've saw the issues with the liquid metal that they use between the chip and the cooling, well before this thing was released to the public. So it's just a matter of, will it last 3 years, 5 years? I mean, if you look at your old PS3 or even your PS2, when those things were lasting, 7 years or more in a lot of cases, electronics now have that built-in obsolescence to some extent. So I guess they figured, well, what better way to sell more consoles than, oh, your console failed and it's out of warranty? Too bad. Hey, here's another new PS5 without the disc drive. And since you're mainly digital now, it's, ready for you. So I think they knew about this. There were other people that were doing tests prior, like even Gamers Nexus had made mention as far as like with the liquid metal, how
Austin Evans also has
Austin
made
Evans.
several videos regarding this.
Yeah, and they did this from pretty much like day one. So it's kind of that elephant in the room that was known about, but no one was really talking about, especially like your big news outlets. But I'm pretty sure, just like they enjoy their sponsorships and commercial or advertising dollars from Sony, they're not gonna badmouth too many things. Like whenever there's bad news about Sony, in a lot of cases, a lot of it is, I won't say silence, but it's like, if you remember newspapers back in the day, it's like
it's
the
a
back
low
page
whisper.
or something like that. Yeah,
It's a low whisper from the IGNs and from the Kotakus and from the GameSpots. Three of the biggest publications. I can't say so much for Kotaku, as they once they have fallen off the radar, to be honest with you. But IGN, you see, and look, I don't mean to interrupt, dude. This is what frustrates me as a content creator. As many times as Xbox has dropped the ball on this channel, on many people's channel, and right here, right now, we will give them the business, and we will not take the foot off the gas, because we want them to know that we're displeased by something that they did. Right? Perfect example of the pitchforks and torches being lit and put up in the air is when they tried to charge $120 for Xbox Live Gold. Right? Everyone came out of the woodworks to give them the business, and they deserved it.
Yeah.
We all came out and talked about the $70 price increase, though I understand it. I'm not for it. They're a $1 trillion company. I think it's a stupid move, in my opinion. But I understand it's a necessary evil. If you have three things, that what could we raise without raising the other two? In Game Pass and the console
price.
Then you raise the but I wasn't happy about it, and I gave them the business. I find it very disingenuous and not doing, like, I take this, and I want to call it a job, folks. I stream 5 days a week. It's a freaking job. I have to prepare. If I have a shit show, you guys are going to tell me about, say, hey, Boom, that show sucked and you didn't seem prepared, right? Has that happened? No, because I take this very serious. It frustrates me to no end when you have someone as big as IGN or GameSpot or Kotaku or any of these other big publications that don't do their job. They have a responsibility to the audience to be fair, to be truthful, and because they're getting advertising, and this is the problem. You see, this is the problem with being the market leader for 20 plus years. You are, like I said this before, and I'll say it again, and I don't want to go too much on a tangent here. PlayStation, good. Whatever they do is accepted. Xbox, asterisk. And we work around that. And I call bullshit on that, but please continue.
No, it's and it's evidenced by like even like the shorter battery life on their DualSense Elite or whatever they call it, the DualSense Edge controller. It's like, okay, I mean, I know there are people defending it, but it's like you pay a premium price for a premium controller over the standard, and it lasts the battery life is shorter than the standard controller, which pales in comparison to like the Elite controller for Xbox in comparison. Sure, it has haptics, but it's like you would think they would want to put a bigger battery in it. But when it comes to PlayStation on this whole liquid metal thing, I'm expecting. I mean, like I said, if this was Xbox, there would already be a class action or like some sort of recall requested type of thing. Hopefully, we'll see enough people stand up about this because I'll be honest, I don't really have room to put this thing horizontally in my TV stand currently. It's been sitting vertical since day one. And has it shut down a few times? Sure, but I'm afraid to even open that thing up after putting the what do you call them, the SSD in here. So I'm not trying to take that cooling thing off the chip to see if the cooling is already leaked or spread out. But push come to shove, if it breaks, then I'll hopefully there'll be a class action later. But that will be a PlayStation that I don't replace at that point if it comes to that. But
it's pretty shocking to me. So I want to do a numbers game with Dave here. Dave, you are our numbers guy. Okay, so let's just say for shits and giggles,
all right,
that the problematic PS5s that are out in the wild right now are not all 30 million because they've redesigned the console and they sold a lot during the holidays.
Right.
So let's scratch 7 million off the to be fair. Let's scratch 7 million. What I have a hard time understanding as a content creator / gamer / community guy is there are 23 million PlayStation 5s out in the wild that are potentially melting from the inside. Now, has anyone here, raise your hand in the classroom, folks, has anyone here had to deal with customer service from PlayStation?
That is a
You're
negative.
laughing.
Not in the past 5 years. No. So.
Well, you don't have a PlayStation 5, and good on you for that.
It's looking pretty good right now. I'm just saying.
You made the right call. But has anyone had a problem with that? Had to call them? Because if you did, you're probably weeping right now because their customer service by far is probably the worst in the business. I would say that Nintendo's is probably the best. You ever call Nintendo with a problem? They bend over backwards to get it done. That's at least been my experience. Xbox used to have top tier when you can speak to somebody. Now it's mediocre in my opinion. I don't like the way they do it. You got to chat with somebody, and then if it's out of control, maybe somebody will call you. I don't like it. And shout out to Pragmatic Eagle, dude. I don't know where the heck you've been, but you won. You're the last Mohican, if you will. You're the last one of that to be notified for the $100 gift card winner from December from our big giveaway. Hit me up either on email, hit me up on Xbox Live, or I don't know if I don't think he's on social media. But yeah, you're the last one, brother. So hit me up. We'll get you that $100 gift card today for your platform of choice. We want to make sure that everyone gets their prize, and obviously, you are the last one. But again, to kind of reel this back in, please, by all means, Dave, continue. So just by a numbers game, folks, right? Just by a numbers game. 23 million potential melting PlayStation 5s. I think that is a problem. The fact that we are talking about it on a very small program, and the IGN isn't having, their breaking news segment and letting people know, letting the gamers know, letting the PlayStation gamers that frequent their site know that there might be a problem. I think that in itself is an issue.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that have these systems. I'm included in that, and I believe you are too, that have these. Now, my system is laying, flat. because of the where I have it located in my entertainment center. So I don't necessarily have that much problem. And to be honest, and I'm not coming down on PlayStation at all. This is not a slam, but I don't play it that much, so it doesn't really have a chance to get too hot. And when I do, it's usually Ghost of Tsushima, and it's maybe 2 or 3 hours at a time when I am playing it. So it's there's definitely going to be, especially now that it's more known and more public, there'll be people that will be like, oh yeah, the mountain's getting warm, and like you said, there'll be people that are going after them for for the money, the lawsuit, the whole thing, and that will happen. It happens with everybody, but hopefully they're going to be able to have some kind of remedy or fix for this. That's the thing that we don't know, is what they have in store, and that may be why they've done that little redesign, was probably to help eliminate this problem going forward, hoping that it would kind of go away. Because Nintendo, as good as they are at their I should say their customer service, stick drift is a real thing, and it's one of those things where they quietly took care of some things on their end, but they never have ever acknowledged that there is a problem with stick drift, because they don't want to have to take care of everybody. They just take care of the ones that complain the loudest, and that's probably what's going to probably happen here, is that Sony's going to just try and quietly take care of the ones that complain the loudest, or they're going to have some kind of fix set up. But this is definitely something that they didn't want, and with the holy Christ, with the super chat you just got, we may want to.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me just get to it.
I wonder if he just hit a million.
Wow, dude, that is ridiculous. Let me just get to this. Robert Jones, who is a generous friend of the show, he has been for many, many years, just did something that has never happened on this show before. Robert, I don't know how or why I deserve such an incredible gift, but what he's doing is amazing, and it just goes to show you that the generosity has no bounds. Robert Jones has, I've never in my life, are we doing we're 5 years old, November 3rd of 22, so we're over 5 years. I've never seen anything quite like this. If it's a mistake, brother, I will return it. I don't know how to do that. I would figure it out, but that is incredibly generous. He drops, folks, a $450 super chat. And why he's doing it, you might ask, besides enjoying the content, is it's why this nearly brings me to tears. This is a small channel, folks. And Mrs. Boom and I are always looking to do better than the year before. That's our goal. Last year, we gave away $3,500 worth of prizes in 12 months. On a retired guy's salary, you say, how do you do that, Boomer? You're robbing banks behind the scenes? The answer is no. What we do is we actually take the super chats and we do tuck them away, and we then strategically put money in when we can, and then we build our prize packages throughout the year. Well, the first one that we announced for this year, and this is why he's contributing, and I cannot thank you enough for that, Robert, is...
Bless you, Robert.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for that. And I'll get to Elemental P, who dropped the first super chat of $5. Elemental P, you're no slouch either, brother. I'll get to you in a second. We announced to open up the year that our first big giveaway was to purchase 10 copies of Stalker 2 when it comes out, when it becomes available. We are going to have a special, a 60-minute launch special podcast. And in that 60 minutes, we're hoping to have a few of the developers join us, which I've reached out to them. I'm waiting for a response. And we are going to give away 10 copies, and we're buying those copies. I'm literally not buying them from, Timmy down the block who runs a chop shop. I'm going to GameStop, and I'm going to drop $800 worth of monies to get these 10 copies and give them away. Now, of course, I'm going to let it be known that if you are one of the winners, you have your choice of PC or Xbox. you pick which one you want, and we're going to buy the copies. And the reason why we want to buy the copies is because 70% of the monies is going to the team and their families. And considering of what happened, obviously with the war with Russia, everyone is displaced. That whole team and their families are in a different part of the world now, and they had to. The fact that this game is getting done at all is shocking. It just goes to show the tenacity of CGS Game World, and we're going to buy the 10 copies. So he says this after dropping, and again, I honestly can't believe this, $450. He says, here is a contribution to your Stalker 2 giveaway. Maybe add another 4 to 5 copies. You know what, dude? I think we are gonna increase it.
Awesome.
We are gonna increase it because that's.
And he did put on there, Robert, that this is not a mistake. He didn't need to do this. He's a good guy. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That is show stopping for sure. Elemental PO, who is a very good friend of the channel, has been since the inception of the show. Drops the first $5 super chat. Not only that, he's a channel member for 6 months. He says, all console war aside, Sony now taking a page out of the Xbox 360 book again with overheating CPUs. Credit where credit is due, LOL. I mean, that is funny. And Drawn TJ drops a very generous $5 super chat. Says, hi guys, I want to help the Stalker devs. Yeah, I think we all do. And like, I tried to buy the game, which is weird because I bought 4 games to start off 2020. I put it on Twitter yesterday. Bought my first 4 games. I bought Resident Evil 4. I bought Hogwarts. I bought Jedi Survivor, and I bought Deliver Us Mars. Because if you never played Deliver Us the Moon, oh my God, what an amazing freaking game! You should definitely play that. It is very, very story driven. One of my favorite games of the year when it came out. Tom from Toonami, one of my favorite names, he drops a $5 super chat and says, this is literally one of the best communities on YouTube. I 100% agree. It is just unbelievable. But listen, I don't want to get emotional on the air, so thank you again, Robert. I don't even know what to say. Thank you, everyone. LMNOP, Drawn TJ, Tom, the super chats that come in, they help more than you know. Like I said, when I need programs, do the thumbnails, and to keep the podcast growing, I use the super chats for that. When I needed equipment this year, my mic died. I needed new lighting. That's what we use it for. And a couple years ago, I needed a new computer, and Mrs. Boom bought me one for Christmas. To upgrade it. And obviously, we're not rich folks. We're not poor. Not stretch of truth. I'm not complaining about money at all. We're doing okay. But when you want to give back, this is how we fund those giveaways. So, Robert, again, thank you so much for that. Thank you, everyone that has donated and will continue to donate. Anything else you'd like to say, Fuzzy, regarding this? I want to get your technical opinion. No, I'm sorry, we took out Fuzzy. Dave, let's go back to you.
No. Let's go ahead and jump to Fuzzy, because, like I said, it's just a.
Well, Fuzzy already gave his spiel, so okay, I want to get your numbers, mind into this, because this is a problem. This has a potential to be a red ring of death situation where your console is legitimately melting. Now, I get it. It's splash damage at this point. We've seen several, and it looks ugly. And that's inside your console. No one gives a shit, right?
Right.
But what if that leakage starts to make its way to something else?
Or
what if
fires.
your console catches fire while you're not at home? See, now, again, I'm not a tech guy, folks. Please help me out here, folks in the chat. We have almost 400 people here. I leave mine on standby, right?
Same.
Now, most people, there was a big thing with don't do it. Don't leave your stuff on standby. You're gonna destroy your console, which is ridiculous because that's a feature.
Right.
Could this thing on standby have this thing leak if you have it vertical, and could that cause a fire potentially? See, I don't know.
I don't know, to be honest, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of testing in the next couple of weeks from a lot of these sites that are really good at this kind of thing. That I wouldn't think so, because it's in a low status mode, so that
Okay.
means that it's not gonna be drawing as much power on the system. It's basically designed so that it can download in the background, make updates in the background when you're not there. That's basically what it's doing, but it's not running as hard as if you were playing a game in high res or that kind of thing, or 4K, to where it actually was taxing the system. So that's about the biggest thing I could say. And I mean, I'd be correct. I'm just from what I understand, it's not when it's in standby mode, it's definitely not pulling as hard. Now, does that mean that if I'm going away on a vacation or something, or if I'm leaving the house for a long period of time, I'm going to go ahead and shut it all the way off? Two reasons. One, because you kind of iffy. Plus two, if you have a power surge or a storm happen while you're gone, you don't want to get your system hit. You have a better chance of it not getting hit if it's off. So, but that's definitely this is definitely something that's gonna probably more talked about, and we could probably hit back at it at some point after
I
some of
agree.
these tech shows, like Digital Foundry and some of the other ones that take
You
these
see, them
systems apart.
I wouldn't trust because
Well,
they're
okay.
they're Sony apologists. You know who I'm looking forward to? Austin Evans.
Yes, that's
I
the guy. I couldn't think of his
love
name.
Austin. I mean,
Yeah.
he's one of my, honestly, folks, I'd pinch myself if I met him. Like I really, he's a regular guy, kind of like the way I, put myself out there. That's how he is. I really do like the way him. And when you ever watch one of his shows, it's like he's hanging out with his friends.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about Austin. Like I said, I don't get, he's just a human being like me, but I do like his work.
Yep.
And when he does it, he will let us know. I'll be looking forward to that. So good stuff, Dave, as always. Crispy, let's get your hot take on this, brother. This was reported again. I saw some small sites reporting it. I haven't seen the big sites. The biggest site I saw was IGN India, which again, shout out to our brothers and sisters across the world that reported on this. My question to you is, how come IGN and GameSpot and Kotaku aren't making splash headlines to let people know that, yeah, this is freaking happening?
Because they're getting paid off by Sony, or they're gonna pull their review rights or something like that. There's probably some contract they have to get free stuff some way. Even if it's just said, like, if you do this, we'll pull everything from you. Do you want those AAA games on there? These type of things. I mean, come on. It could be what, just simply as, oh, we're PlayStation fans all the way and they can do nothing wrong. It could be any of those things, but maybe they will. I don't know. I mean, as a smaller site like this takes something like this, and this is not the first time I've seen this. I retweet it. I'm not going to go one way or the other until I see more. I have seen it, God, about a year and a half ago. I can't remember the dude. Maybe somebody could throw it in the chat. He'll always buy like multiple consoles that are broken, and then he'll try to fix them. And then you kind of see the, like, Xbox had one thing that was a problem in a few of them, and then some things were kind of freak and stuff like that. But the reason why, that one thing, I can't remember exactly, it's something to do with like a connection or something. But that one thing wasn't a big deal, is that they would either fix it or replace the console. There was no question about it. You know what I mean? Especially if it had that issue. Now, some people chose to sell it secondary because they actually almost made as much in certain instances. And they just said, you know what? Like, let me just get a new console myself. People could do what they want. You know what I mean? This I've seen multiple, videos of him, buying PS5s. And this would be like 2 or 3 out of like a lot of 10. You know what I mean? And it would be like, it would be moving and stuff like that. First of all, Sony not telling you to have it horizontal instead of vertical, recommend it at the least. I mean, we've seen consoles do this before. We recommend you keep it in this. It will work the other way, but we do not recommend this. I mean, then it's kind of put on the consumer in a way. But if Sony had any inkling of this, and they continued with the console, and you have to realize this has got to be widespread, because that specific liquid metal is in every one of them. Doesn't
Correct.
matter what, maybe the disk drive could cause more. I don't know. Nobody's pinpointed that yet. I'm sure it might be, somebody smaller like us or something like that that really does investigative type things. I've seen it before, and they come out with a great piece, and it blows the doors off this thing because, a lot of these documentaries you see and stuff start with somebody with an idea or a way of breaking down a situation, and it turns into something bigger. And that's, we've seen so much about the Red Ring of Death. I had it happen to me. So, I'm looking at you, PlayStation guy. If this is happening to you, and from what I've heard, at least in the, the time I haven't had a PlayStation, it is not fun dealing. You need to speak up. Like, you have this platform that we didn't have really, it was in its infancy. It was like Facebook and like MySpace still, MySpace was still around, and then Facebook was coming up, and we didn't really have like this community to say, hey, this is happening to me. Now you're going to have the people that are going to hate you. That's fine. But putting your voice out there. I mean, if you're a gamer, like this ain't right. And trust me, if this was Xbox, us ourselves, we'd be raking them through the coals now.
But you know what? Even more so than that. See, that's the problem, Crispy. If this was Xbox, IGN would have been out there with waving the flag like this to let everyone freaking know that there's a problem. That's where I get very upset and disgusted with gaming media. I'm sorry, folks. I don't want to go on a cream cheese rant. Shout out to that gentleman in there. He made his name Cream Cheese Rant. I love it. That is hats off to you, man. That is the best. But I don't like to get on my high horse because really it's just a podcast. It's not that serious. But is it serious? Yeah, I think it is. And I just to think that it seems so polar opposite when it comes to Sony good, Xbox bad, Crispy. This is another example of that. This is important news. Millions of people, Crispy, tune in and watch and click and read and comment to IGN sites. They have a responsibility to the gamers to make this a priority. Why they have not is sickening. I'm sorry. End rant.
Yeah. Well, integrity. I mean, and who knows? Maybe somebody that works there is listening right now. Do you guys have some integrity? Because I'll tell you right now, I would expect a lot of smoke if Xbox did it. But at the same time, it's not right if this is Sony. Because if you really, and this is where I kind of, I don't understand the logic and why they used it. Because if you're going to stand your, vertically, and the chip is laid out in the, in the set the way it is, and then you have a liquid, okay, isn't it going to pool to one side? I mean, eventually, I mean, isn't that physics? Isn't that like, that's just physics, right? I'm not like, what I mean? Like a liquid, it becomes the liquid, like it's supposed to technically in the way they wanted it to, and it's going to pool to one side. So I wonder if people's issues with like some of the, the things that have happened that, like all the different aliasing and all that's happened over this period of time, which I've seen plenty of it. I wonder, and maybe it didn't break it, but it's like, hey, like I'm on the brink because I've been sitting in this pool on one side and not cooling the other side of the chip. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, like, they should have, if they did the right thing, and they might have brought red flags, and then people might have said something right off rip. I don't know, probably not the way this is happening right now. But if they said, hey, we recommend horizontal, at least you did that. But you didn't, Sony. And you continue. I'm going to be honest with you. And the FTC, all these, you guys, whoever's got to investigate this, they should. Because this is not right to the consumers. And you've seen, and I've heard like video recordings of horror stories dealing with Sony's, entire like ecosystem when it comes to like trying to get somebody to help you. You know what I mean? Like you could call different branches and it's basically the same thing. So
awful.
It's just terrible. We're not saying Xbox is great either. The one thing I'll say is there's, that class action with the series controller with the bumpers and all that. Well, you really haven't heard about it because they basically, if you bought a series console, they are tacking that onto the warranty. That's what's happening. So like if you buy a new console, they're saying, okay, if you do have an Elite controller, we'll honor with that warranty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what they were doing for a while. My brother Predator, it's on next. That was on last night.
Mhm.
He's done it multiple times where they've sent him a brand new series controller. So, you know, it's one of those things like Sony, you got to do the right thing. But also, if you guys don't say nothing, they ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I look again, folks. This originally wasn't a topic until we were talking in the green room, and I was like, yeah, this is something we got to talk about because, like I said, it ultimately it's gross. The colors have been blurred, or the lines have been blurred, however you want to put it, whatever pronunciation you want to use. It is two sides of a coin. Xbox gets. I don't want to say overly. Xbox, when they make a mistake, we talk about it on this program, many podcasts. You know, give them the righteous smoke, as Kay Asante would say. But when it's Sony, it's like, well, you know, it's okay, it's fine. You know, they'll deliver us Last of Us 3 or Last of Us 2 remake remaster. That's fine. It's okay. It's no problem. And you see, that complacency is why being in first place for 20 years, unchallenged by anyone, even like of the likes of Nintendo, to boot you out of that spot. This is where I say that they have gotten fat sitting in that throne. That's why there's no innovation for Sony anymore. That's why their games that everyone loved about Sony, the weird Sony and the PlayStation 3 era, those are gone. Those days are gone. And they're not going to come back, and they're going to be forced. Anything that they do moving forward is because they have to, not because they want to. And the fact that this is actually happening, like I said, they just announced at CES. Jim Ryan came on the stage, hey, wait, we sold 30 million. That's fantastic. You cannot argue that is not an outstanding number to hit at this stage, considering they have blown past the PlayStation 4 numbers, and PS4 numbers are probably closing in on 118 million consoles sold. That's a lot of consoles. So that suggests that the PlayStation 5 is going to sell as many. They're going to break 100 million consoles again. And out of the PlayStation 1 to 5, they only missed it once, and they didn't miss by much. I think they had like 90, 94, 95 million units, and they just passed Xbox. I think at like 93 million units for the PS3 360 generation, and that's because they stumbled at the gate. So they're doing some big things. The fact of the matter is that we are now 2 years and a couple of months into this generation, and we have a situation like this where it is now being reported that if you put your console standing up, which is a feature, that's the problem, folks. It is a feature that is offered to you as a choice as a gamer. Hey, you don't have room to lie it down, which is the way I have it. Don't worry about it. Stand it up. Put it behind your TV. When I first got it, I had it I stood up. And Mrs. Boom was like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't usually, normally she doesn't say anything about the toys and all the shit I have all over the house. She's like, that is just ugly. That's like that. I look at it and it ruins the whole living room. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I had to buy, folks. And this is not console war bullshit. This is for real. I had to change my furniture to find one that fit this freaking thing that was open on the sides and the back so it wouldn't overheat and melt. And it would be tucked away where all you could see is the front of it, because Mrs. Boom was like, that thing is ruining my. Also, if you see in the background, we can't see because you got the tree here, but normally it's the majestic birds that we have on the walls. And she's like, my living room is ruined. I mean, think about that for a second. That's real life. So the fact that this is actually happening, folks, at this stage in the game, and only the little sites are talking about it, only the little podcasts are talking about it. See, that's the problem. This should have been world-breaking news. Everyone that is anyone should have reported on this. And they didn't, because the market leader says, if you do it, we're going to fix your ass. We're going to blackball you. We're going to make sure you don't get review copies. And you see, that's like a dictator. That's like a fat king, right, on the throne that just want to get off the throne, but wants to keep ruling the roost. And this is why I can't wait for them to be in third place. because of this. And that again, and rant. Sorry, I had a couple of rants today, but it bothers me. It really does. With that said, folks, I have to read off some super chats. Been quite a few of them. Catch up on those. Highlander 001 drops a very generous $5 super chat. And check this out, folks. He says, "Morning Boom and panel. While I was in Afghanistan, and I'm assuming you are ex-military or current military, so thank you for your service." He says, "My PlayStation 4 Pro caught fire and did $45,000 worth of damage to his home. Glad my family wasn't safe." Of course, that's the most important thing. Don't trust Sony over this. And rightfully so. Obviously, that's horrible. But the most important thing is that no one got hurt. Wolf of Darkness, very good friend of the show. He drops an $18 AED, which I believe equates to about a $5 super chat. So thank you so much for the generosity, Wolf of Darkness. Thank you for always supporting the channel. He says, "What's up, Boom? Hello, everyone. Imagine if Xbox Series X had a chip defect. Everyone will talk about it in the gaming biased media." Yep, that's exactly what we're talking about. And that's true. Yes, it would have been front page news for everyone. Brett Bingham, generous friend of the program, drops a $5 super chat and says, "If Sony knew beforehand a class action lawsuit is possible, Ford got into trouble because they had documents showing the math on how much to fix the Pinto." Yeah. I mean, it's probably coming. There's no doubt about it. And at some point, you ask yourself, does the government get involved? Because, like, remember Sony did something, right? They went and they said, "Hey, take this magnifying glass here and put it on the industry," and they're a part of the industry and they're the market leader. So, what do you think the government is going to say when the market leader is pulling this kind of BS? I don't know, folks, but I hope that they get in trouble if this is true. Like I said, my PlayStation 5 runs just fine. I mean, has it shut off on me quite a few times, actually? It just completely just shut off. I'm like, oh shit, did my thing die? But it didn't, thankfully. Mandingo McThickens drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he says, "Boom, wait. So has cream cheese dethroned Mandingo McThickens naming convention wise? No, yours is still number one, brother. That is just so awesome. As for the PlayStation 5 issue and the lack of media coverage, disgusting." Yeah, and that he's right. He's right for that. Let's see what else we got here. You know what we do have? Oh yeah, Rel in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, Rel, and thank you for the outstanding generosity. He drops a $2 super chat and says, "I guess we all need to buy a PlayStation 5 cooling fan." Yeah, maybe. I guess Amazon will definitely be selling those soon enough. I don't think the cooling fan is going to help, but we got to welcome in. Hold on a sec. Mandingo McThickens drops an additional $10 super chat and says, "Cajun Trilogy, you may have a point, given the issue with the PlayStation 5. Using the PlayStation VR may convert you to simple Jack. Don't want to chase butterflies with a hammer, though talking to animals is cool." I guess I missed it. So thank you for the generosity. I'm going to see if I can find what you were talking about right there. But we got to welcome an Infinite Umbra, the man with the best singing voice on any podcast that I know. Umbra, first of all, you came in at the perfect time. We're still talking about the melting PlayStation 5s. I want to get your point. Thanks for joining us.
Of course. I saw the invite. It is open. I was like, you know what? Let me sneak in here really quick. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, listen, even if we got you
Good
10
morning.
15 minutes, drop your bars, brother. Obviously, it's being reported on by not the big sites. IGN, proper, GameSpot, Kotaku, none of these big websites that have millions and millions of
None of the
followers.
Sony sycophant sites, you basically.
Pretty much, yeah. No one's reporting on this, but IGN India did. Actually, that's the first report I saw, and then I saw some of the smaller sites that I've never heard of before reporting on this.
They'll be swiftly taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Because obviously everyone on the panel here has said if this would have been Xbox, IGN would have been out there with a giant flag waving it like this.
Not even a question. It would have been all over.
Right? They would have had an emergency podcast
It's not
I-
even a question.
Yeah.
It's vastly different how they represent, and you can see that in all forms of media when it comes to things, how they word what they say and how they say what they say, whatever about a situation. But I'll just say this: I have a PS5. This thing is hideous. I'll stick to that. And much like you, I had to figure out furniture-wise what would I do to accommodate this gigantic thing. So I made sure to have an entertainment system where it's just open all around. Now mine's is standing vertical too. And I was at work and I saw this news and I was like, man, I hope I don't come back to like an exploded place or whatever. But it's interesting. Like it's not too many people reporting on it. But if you go to that gentleman's tweet, that French gentleman, it's another person or two that's in there that says that they actually made a video on it themselves before he even did it. So it's not just him saying it, it's other people saying it. And he runs a shop, so he's seen a few of them, more than a few, that he's felt the need to come out and say something about it. So I take it serious for that reason. I don't know how widespread it is, the issue, and from reading like different comments, it seems to be the case that so many different things have to happen where it will melt that way and affect other components that it's not going to affect too many people. But I do stand by the fact, like what you pointed out, if it had been Xbox, it'd be all over the news. At least the major sites at the very least would have put something out there, a little blurb or something. So I'm not sure how much validity it holds all across the board for things, but yeah, it's a problem. And I heard you guys mention as far as like who has the best or worst customer service. From my experience, Sony has been the worst. And I heard 100%. You say Nintendo. I heard you say Nintendo, but for me, Xbox has been the best.
No, I said Nintendo has the best.
Yeah,
at least in my experience. Since every time I've called Nintendo, they have gone leaps and bounds to help me with my situation. And I've never been told no. Like they didn't open it when I knocked on the door. They were like, "Yeah, come in, no problem. So have a seat over there. Want water? What temperature?" That's Nintendo. Xbox used to be like that. Yeah, not anymore. Xbox is not that great.
It's a little different now, huh?
Yeah, it's
from past experiences with me, it's been that way from Microsoft for me. Like I've mentioned this before. I don't know if you all remember, but I was talking about the 7 ring. I had 7 red rings.
I had 9. I think 9 or 10. It's ridiculous how many
I had. Yeah, we had a lot. We suffered, but I had so many. I learned how to solder the thing and work it out myself. I kid you not. Outside of the towel trick,
you just wrap it in the towel. That's what you gotta do.
I did. I did it. I did it a few times.
I'm kidding.
But after a point, it doesn't work. But so the thing I'll say is this: like Microsoft has then at least they were really on top of it. I got money from them. I've gotten controllers, games, everything, and they're calm. And I'm just telling them off on the phone. Man, my console is not working. Blah blah blah. They got everything taken care of for me, free of charge. So I can only point out that instance. I've never had a bad instance with them. Sony, I've seen cases where people have had their accounts closed or suspended.
Hold on a sec. Let me tell you a quick story. My brother, my actual brother, Neo Mental, told the story a million times. I'm going to tell it to you right now. He pre-ordered Destiny 2 because he's a freak. When I tell you he's a Destiny freak, he has probably around 7,000 hours across PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. He has done it all. He has done every raid. He is Mr. Destiny. 3 months before the game was supposed to come out, 2 or 3 months before the game was supposed to come out, he calls and he tries to cancel it. He had pre-ordered the expensive edition. He's like, "Yeah, you know what? My new job. I'm not going to have time, so I'm going to play on Xbox where all my friends are." And he calls up and he says, "Listen, it's almost 90 days from the release of the game. I just want to cancel it." They say, "No, you can't. You can't cancel pre-orders." It's like, what do you mean? The game's not coming out for another 3 months. Why? Well, because we don't do that. She says, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna fix your ass." He calls his bank, and the bank he says, "Listen, I tried to cancel this pre-order. Sony's not letting me. It's not fair. I don't want the item. I can't return it." And they're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. We'll take back the charge." And they locked his account, and they would not unlock his account until he bought Destiny 2. Wow. That's like the Gestapo, folks.
Yeah, that's pretty dirty. That's pretty shady right there. Especially if they can actually track the time he's put into that thing to know that he wouldn't be cheating them. That's crazy. But yeah, yeah, I stick by Sony is the worst. Just to say. But yeah, I don't know how much validity this thing will have across the board. I just hope that I'm not one of the victims, with this thing. And much like with Dave, like he pointed out, though, I barely touched this thing. So, it's just sitting there looking at me like, you're not gonna touch me today. I'm like, nope.
Come on, touch it. You know you
Right.
want to touch it. Come on.
I feel so lonely over here.
Oh, my
Come on,
goodness.
Infinite, touch me. Come
I'm
on.
I'm a console too. Yeah.
Oh, you're my dirty console. Come on.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I barely touched the thing, so it's like maybe I won't have that issue because I don't play on the console enough. I just use it for their first party exclusives. That's it. Everything else is Xbox for me. So I don't know. Maybe I won't have that issue, but I think we'll definitely keep an eye out because it might be something that turns into something big. I remember when the Red Rings of Death, it was somewhat similar, where it was a few people reporting it, and then it started to blow up. So you never know. And that cost Microsoft a cool $1 billion, I believe, to fix, didn't it?
It was $1 billion. That was over $1 billion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it could end up being a big thing for Sony too. So we'll see. Just keep an eye out for it.
But they did it. They took care of the people. That's the thing that's pretty
That's
awesome
true.
about Microsoft. That's probably why they still have customer base to this day.
I agree. That's
Yeah.
why they kept me.
Yeah,
Yep.
because they responded to a problem and they answered the call. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm hoping that people who really enjoy their PlayStation 5s are not marred by this problem. I would imagine that if you are someone that plays like for instance, I play the Xbox and my Switch every day. Now, some days it's an hour, some days it's 6 hours. I haven't had a 6-hour sit down in years because of the channel, obviously. But every now and again, I'll play 2 hours, record footage, 3 hours. So I put a good amount of work into these two consoles. I don't put as much. If I turn on my PlayStation once in a week, it's because I was dusting, and I accidentally put it on. And I'm like, shit! The TV comes on, everything's on. I got to shut it off. I don't play my. I just don't. That's the truth. That is the honest truth. The last 3 times that I put it on wasn't to play a game. I was dusting, and I'm like, God damn it! I hit the button again.
You must have. Do you have an OLED too? Is that what it is?
Yes,
because it does it for me
and
too.
when the system comes on, it
Okay.
automatically goes and the boom, and then the screen comes up, and I'm like, God damn it! I got to stop what I'm doing. It's a pain in the ass. So so that's what happens. So that's the last time, and I'm not being offensive. I have everything for the PlayStation 5: the camera, multiple controllers. I have the headphones, you name it. I have it all. I have all the bells and whistles. I love it. I just don't use it as much. And the next time I'm going to use it is when The Last of Us 2 remake is under $30. When I can get it for like $25, I'll buy it, play it, and really enjoy it because I love the original. So I'm probably going to love this one, but I'm not spending more than $25 on it.
I agree with you there.
I'm just not doing it. But
refuse.
What we got to do, and Umbra, I don't know how long we have you. So I'm going to go to the next topic because obviously we're already an hour into the show. And this is a very small one, but I think it's relevant to the conversation we're going to have in the back end, talking about Xbox in 2023 and beyond. Listen, let's call a spade here, okay? If you think Sony is worried about only ABK, you're sadly mistaken. Now, I will be the first one to say that 2022 was probably the worst year in Xbox gaming for first party in its history. And that's 22 years in the business. Okay. No excuse for what happened. I don't want to hear it. I'm not making any excuses for Phil Spencer or anybody over there. They failed. What was their report card for 2022? F. Sorry. Now, it's different if you ask me what was their report card for Game Pass? B+, maybe even an A-, because I am inundated with games from single A to indie to AAA bombs. We were loaded. We were eating good in Game Pass, no problem there, right?
That's a fact. Yep.
But that's going to change, and we're in the year that it's going to change because we know what's coming. And And I have heard, and again, I have sources like everyone. Take it for a grain of salt if you don't believe me. That what they haven't shown us in 2023 for this year, what they haven't shown us is going to melt your brain. Now, I can't tell you what it is because that wasn't explained to me. But I can tell you from a verified source that they assured me, trust me, Boom, when I am telling you what you have not seen is coming is going to blow your freaking mind. Those are the exact words. So I get goosebumps talking about it because I said this before. If you look at Xbox just on paper, because they have to deliver, folks. We're talking paper, right? They have to deliver. On paper, if we get an opening salvo with a show in January, we get release dates, we get a bunch of new trailers. They hit on all cylinders with Starfield, with Motorsport, with Redfall, Hellblade on the back end of the year, plus a bunch of other surprises. And they close ABK this year. There's a reason why Sony is concerned. Sony's concerned because not just because of ABK or King or Blizzard. No. They're concerned because their games take years to be made and they're quality games. Maybe God of War isn't your thing. I'm not gonna agree with you. Say that game is garbage. That game is a masterpiece. And the first one was a masterpiece. I haven't played the second one because, again, folks, I don't have the time. I bought it. I bought the most expensive version digitally, but I haven't played it yet. I'm going to play it. From what I've seen, it is a 10 out of 10. I've watched many videos. I've watched other people play it. It's gorgeous. Looks like God of War 2018. You know what? Sign me up. I'm good. But their games take years to come out. And I don't know past... I mean, look. Jim Ryan at the CES show closed with 3 games on the screen as being their biggest games of 2023. One of which is Spider-Man 2. Oh my God, I cannot wait. Kraven the Hunter and Venom in the same game versus Miles Morales and Peter Parker. Yep, I'm buying the collector's edition. They already got my money. But the other 2 games that they showed, one of which was Hogwarts, third-party game. The other one was Final Fantasy 16. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a flying hootenanny about it. I don't think a lot of people do. I will not give Square Enix a dime of my money anymore. I'm on strike. I'm not giving them a dime, a freaking dime of my money.
When they had the gall to skip Octopath Traveler 2 on the Xbox, I was done with them.
Yeah, me too. I'm not buying their stuff. I'm just not. I'm not buying it. So Sony is concerned, but it's not just because of ABK. It's because Microsoft is going to slap. This is going to be, if you're a wrestling fan, anybody a wrestling fan in here, as old as I am, because I'm an old bastard.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the match between the Ultimate Warrior before he was known? He was a new guy, and the Honky Tonk Man. Remember that guy with the guitar? The guy who looked like Elvis?
Mm-hmm.
He was the Intercontinental Champion, right? And he's in the ring, and he's doing his thing with Jimmy Hart. And out of nowhere, the lights go off. Ultimate Warrior runs full sprint like he was known, slid in, beat the balls off of Honky Tonk Man, 1, 2, 3 pin, got the Intercontinental belt, and ran out. And people were like, "What the just happened? Who was that guy?"
Yep, that
is what's going to happen to Jim Ryan. He's going to be in there like, "Yeah, we're the champions. Don't worry. Don't worry about the melting PlayStation 5s. We're good." Phil Spencer's going to full sprint run in. Knee drop him, whatever, elbow drop him, jump from the top rope like Jimmy Snuka, elbow him, 1, 2, 3, boom, he's going to run out. That's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen in 2023. And Phil Spencer was just named another big award for the Variety Top 500 contributors for 2022. And he has gotten this award in 2018 and in 2019. Again, folks, not the biggest story. Umbra, Phil Spencer, CEO of gaming for Microsoft, just given the Variety Top 500. I think this is great because Phil is a good dude and he does care. He's a gamer. He cares about us. What are your thoughts on this award by Variety?
I think it's great. I mean, we always speak on Phil. and give him his flowers, so to speak. I mean, the man is a actual true gamer. You all talk about the drug, the crack that is Vampire Survivors. He's probably got more hours than most of us here. I know he has more than me. And I mean, let's be clear here. There are no two ways about it. He saved Xbox. So as far as I'm
100%.
concerned, yeah, you know, and from all accounts I've heard from people who actually, you know, met him and talked with him, from I thought that was me.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize
I was like, what in the world did I do?
I didn't have the thing muted.
I'm like,
I don't get a strike for that.
I'm like, is that the PS5? Is it happening? It's happening. But yeah. For all accounts and purposes, I mean, people I've spoken with in parties and such like that on Xbox, from Colt to Dealer to, you know, to Rand, they've all spoken highly of him, and as far as him being a good dude in general. I mean,
can I let the cat out of the bag, folks? I'm not going to say when.
Do it, Boom. Do it.
I'm not going to say how. I had an opportunity last year to have a very lengthy in-person conversation with Phil Spencer. Again, I can't say when or where or why, but I did.
Nice.
And when I tell you, he is a regular dude. When I walked away so impressed. I said, what am I allowed to ask, Phil? You know what he tells me? Ask me whatever you want. Like I could not believe that I was standing there with Phil Spencer talking about Banjo-Kazooie. I am still, again, I can't say when, but I had a full-on conversation with Phil last year, and it's probably the highlight of my content creation career, honestly. Yeah, when I tell you, when you say that, Colt and Dealer, and I can be now added to that list, which is a mega list.
Nice.
And I can tell you that he's a
great dude.
real nice guy. Like, he is who you see on camera. Honestly, I'm telling you, if you trust me for anything, trust me when I tell you that he is who he shows himself to be.
I believe that. I mean, I don't think somebody can go around faking the funk, as they would say, so long, right? And most times you see Phil, I mean, we've had to complain about him being too nice. That's the thing. So I know that's his character, you know. He's just like, man, look, man, I just want to game and get some good games out to you all. Maybe get some Diablo and some, you know, revive on a franchise or two. That's all he wants. And maybe go skiing or something. Phil's a good dude. I think, you know, he's just a good gamer. You know, and I mean that in the truest sense. So he doesn't look at the boundaries of Xbox. He looks beyond it and says, hey, even if you're a PlayStation guy or a Nintendo guy, hey, we're all for that too.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's a genuine thing. And I think so many of us are kind of jaded when it comes to that. And also because of the console warring that, you know, that happens, that we kind of look at that and kind of scoff and like, he's not really that. Or, you know, he doesn't really feel this way, or of course he's too nice, too kumbaya, right? But I think that's just who he is. And if anybody is deserving of it, it's Phil. So much kudos to him, and well deserved.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. Shout out to Jagger Blaze Alex in the chat. Says, when that music popped on for Ultimate Warrior, it's on. Yeah, I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan growing up. I actually went, folks. I had third row seats for the first WrestleMania as a kid. I still have the programs and everything with Mr. T and Hogan. He's Hulk Hogan. I mean, he said some things that made me fall off as a fan, but when Ultimate Warrior took the title and beat him, I was devastated. But yeah, shout out to Arcade 4247 in the chat. It says, almost forgot it's Friday. Well, happy Friday, brother, and welcome to the program. But Dave, let's get your opinion on this. Look, again, this may not be a big award for a lot of people, but the world is a pretty big place. Quite a couple of billion of people, right? Quite a few billions of people. Variety, well, you can't say they're a small publication. And Phil Spencer got in the top 500. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Deserving?
Very well deserving, of course. Yes, yes. He's like you said, he's an amazing guy. And since he's a close personal friend of yours, oh no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm playing, but
I
no,
don't have his cell phone number like
no,
Tim Dog, but
there
maybe
you
one
go,
day.
there you go, there you go. But I tell you, hearing that as a gamer and someone who loves the industry, not just Xbox, but the whole gaming industry as a whole, and that he is approachable, accessible, and he really, he is really not. To him, it's not just a job. He enjoys it, and he sees the benefit for the whole community is the things that he works on, the thing that he works toward, getting games everywhere to everybody, and that's what he's working on. And it's genuine. It's not just a money thing for him. I mean, obviously they want to make money, but in the process, if they're able to make money, then he's able to get these things accomplished because of the position he puts the company in. If they're able to, hey, you know what, we're able to do this and this and this, and accessibility and mobile, those kind of things are coming because of the work that he's put in so far and the work that him and Sarah Bond continue to do. So I think it's great recognition. It's well deserved. And let's hear from Phil.
This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Love you, Phil.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get Fuzzy. Fuzzy, let's get in here, brother. He gets this award. It's not the first one of the year for him. He's probably going to get this multiple times. What are your thoughts on him deserving? And again, I know that a lot of people are like, well, it's because he's trying to close the ABK deal. I think it's a little bit more than that. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's well deserved, and it's one of those things when you have someone that's an enthusiast within the hobby that the company that they work for is pushing or marketing in, you're going to have an awesome result as far as being able to understand the customer base, or for him to understand the customer base because he himself sees himself as a customer or as a gamer. So it's awesome when you have that type of leadership within a company. I wish it could be said for Jim Ryan that he was a gamer, but I would say ever since that picture of him having that PlayStation upside down, I think we all know his level of gaming or what I guess his true motivations are. But with Phil, when I met him just briefly to take a picture at the I guess the Xbox E3 last year, pretty cool dude. Like I could tell he was not really busy, but on the way to go somewhere else. But I was like, hey, do you have a moment? And he was like, yeah, sure. And the fact that he takes time for the fan base or takes time for customers,
that's what we're talking about. Yep.
Even on social media, like you like people will ask him the strangest questions. Now, if you're asking him a troll question, obviously he's just going to move on and ignore it. But in some cases he'll clap back, RIP for Crap Gamer for some of his stuff. But when it comes to Phil, even on social media, when you have a genuine question, in a lot of cases, I mean, this is a person that has like millions of followers. He'll actually take the time to respond because he sees the importance of the fans being kind of kept in the loop. And there are some things obviously we can't, hear from him or he can't speak about in in public space and things like that. But for the most part, every interview, every interaction that others throughout the community have had with him, he is a genuine, well, one, human being, and two, a gamer that can relate on so many different levels, no matter what gaming background, whether you're even on his platform, he'll be able to relate to you as far as any of the questions or be able to take the time to have a conversation. So it's awesome to see him get his like Umber was saying earlier, to see him to get his flowers for just being a good dude in general in this gaming community. It's awesome to see, and hopefully these awards continue as Xbox continues throughout the year, because I think this year is going to be I won't say a nonstop freight train as far as gaming is concerned, but pretty damn close to it. So
I think it's going to be a combination of all the work that he's done prior to post E3 2018 that that we talk about. announcing the creation of a new studio, the purchase of 5 studios, and it's been all uphill ever since then. I agree. I think all the hard work that he's been doing to try to make Xbox a relevant brand, and a brand that's going to challenge the champ, which is Sony right now, is all going to come to fruition, so to speak. But Crispy, let's get your opinion on this, brother. Phil Spencer, another acknowledgement from the industry as a whole as being someone that he's a mover and shaker, as they're saying in Variety. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's true. Come on. He's literally changed Microsoft's entire ecosystem in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, they've become so much more customer oriented and focused, even in just, how they establish themselves with what games they get and other things like that. Regardless of what you want to say about the exclusive part of it, if you have Game Pass last year, it wasn't too bad. I'm just saying. I mean, he had some really, really awesome games there. And it's one of those things, like, you can look at it and, down the road, he could be one of the most influential people in the tech industry in general, because if this passes with the ABK deal and these unions go rampant throughout Microsoft, this will be the biggest thing that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of really horrible takes recently.
Unions matter, bro. Unions matter. And
I'll be honest, I don't work for a union, and I'd probably have better benefits. I know that, and that's something that at the least now Microsoft is saying, hey, you have the choice.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like maybe, we've all heard that Google was, at least was a great company to work for. If that's the case and those people choose not to unionize, well, that's fine. But I've seen, as far as people talking about unions being terminated from companies and such.
Yep.
Okay. So, that's a practice that's not right. It's not right, and it's one of those things, like, he may go down as changing the tech industry in a very big way, because the employees are what give us these great experiences. So, I mean, this is well deserved, and I'm sure this is going to be one of many awards. I mean, there was another big award he got. What it was, like a lifetime achievement or something.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
last year,
he literally, you could say what you want. If you don't have an Xbox, I don't want to hear about it. But he saved Xbox.
He did 100%. He did 100%. Yeah.
We were at the point where we didn't know if there was going to be a console, a new generation. We were questioning that, after the debacle in 2013, and really not doing much about it for the first couple of years until they put Phil in charge. And he started small, and you see where it is now. And I think this year, this is the year that they say, we're gonna do some really special stuff, and we're gonna show off, what we're capable of and what we've been building towards. And if that is done, which we fully expect, Xbox is gonna skyrocket very quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a sight to be seen for sure. But I do want to move on to the next topic, folks. And this is the big one. This is the headliner. And I'm going to start with Infinite Umbra on this. Before I get to you, brother, I got to thank a couple of people. Drawn TJ, I did miss one of his super chats of $10. He says, add this to my offer, of course, to help the families and communities, of course, with GCS Game World, who is making Stalker 2. We also have, let me see, we got here.
Starting at King Webb.
Yes, King Webb, who's a new channel member. Thank you so much for that, brother. Definitely appreciate it. He drops a $5 super chat and says, NetEase just bought Skybox Labs, a support studio that works on Halo Infinite and Minecraft. Do you think we'll see more of this because of the ABK deal? Yes, I do. I think that this ABK holdup is definitely going to open the door for some outside of the United States companies to just start buying up stuff. Consolidation in 2023 is going to run rampant. It's not just Microsoft. Sony is laying in the weeds. They're not making any moves right now because they don't want to. I mean, they're crying about the acquisition. They don't want to go out and buy someone. Though it has been it's been said in multiple circles that once this deal is done, and it's going to get done, folks, Sony's going to jump into action. They're going to shock everyone with their next purchase. Who that is, I don't know.
I still lean towards Square.
Yeah, everyone does. That's the easy answer. But you know what the problem is with that Umbra? I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if Square wants Square, because I mean they're just a shitty company. Sorry,
Yeah.
I mean they're just a terrible company.
They're basically de facto first party anyway. But
pretty much. But yeah, de facto by the great point of view. But Drawn TJ drops in another 3 super chats. The first one of $5 says, "What's up, Infinite Umbra?" He also drops a $5 super chat and says, "Yes, thank you for that." He says, "Keep up the amazing content. I'll be listening at work." You missed my $10 super chat. Thank you for the clarification. Definitely, super don't want to miss anything. And he drops an additional $10. That was the one I missed. Okay, so he dropped
I added it for you. Sorry,
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. And Highlander 001, good friend of the program, drops who's been a channel member for 6 months, drops a $10 super chat and says, "I met both Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer at the funeral for Satya Nadella's son." Yeah, he passed away last year. He says, "My father-in-law is friends with Satya Nadella. Phil is a really nice guy. Satya Nadella is like De Niro from Godfather." I would imagine so.
Wow.
But
you talking to me?
Yeah. There you go. Are you talking to me? You got hey, Dreadpool, welcome, brother. You came in on the last topic. How you feeling? Welcome back.
Oh, good morning, everyone. I tell you how I'm feeling. I feel like a bus ran over me.
Oh,
wow.
Dude, I hate to hear it. Well, listen, we're only going for another 40 minutes or so. Perfect. We'll get you in and out of here. I appreciate you even taking the time, because I know you had a tough night to be here. But I do want to grab Umbra's ear first. Umbra, this is the big topic of the show. Xbox in 2023 and beyond seems to be on a trajectory that has no limit. I know that PlayStation uses the PlayStation has no limits. Well, you're going to see the limits come to fruition forthwith when it comes to first party this year. It's not because they don't have good, talented studios. Like I said in the middle of the show, their games just take a long time to come to fruition. 5, 6, sometimes even 7 years. You will be lucky if you get Factions, but Factions is going to be packaged with The Last of Us 2 remastered. I'm telling you that right now. To put that stamp it into the bank. It's coming. I don't know if they're even going to sell it separately. I think they're going to force people to buy The Last of Us 2 again. It's going to be the remastered version. And that's how they're going to get you. Factions in this one, when they originally promised 3 years ago, but that's here nor there. Let's talk about Xbox. As a fan, as someone that has at times given them the business that they deserve for not delivering on promises, it seems as if that is behind us. And again, folks, I say that it's on paper. They have to deliver. Do I feel that they're going to deliver? 1,000%. Umbra, what is your personal expectations for 2023 and beyond?
I expect nothing more than to be blown away. From what we've already seen listed, I think they're well on their way there. I mean, if you take a cursory look at what we have on the list of 2023 for games coming to Game Pass, and I'm just going to focus on Game Pass, because if I focus on the whole picture, I mean, it'll take all day. But I'll just name some outstanding standouts, right? For the JRPG fans, you got the Persona 3 and 4. You got Monster Hunter Rise coming this month. You have the Age of Empires for RTS fans and strategy fans rather. You have Atomic Heart coming in February. You have Wolong coming in March. You have Starfield likely coming. Well, we don't know when, but people are theorizing March and 23rd and such and so forth, right? You got Redfall, Last Case of Benedict Fox. You have, I'm excited for this one. I don't know how many people are, but I play in a lot of large parties, so party animals. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. And I'm not sorry to say it. Planet of Lana. I mean, I love all types of games, by the way. So that's the beauty for Game Pass with me. I play such a wide swath of games. It does not have to all be AAA. It does not have to be whatever. I like a lot of things. So Game Pass appeals to me in so many levels. We got Lies of P. You have Replaced. You have Ereband, Shadow Legacy, Cocoon, Arc 2. You have I didn't know this, but apparently the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I forgot.
Yes,
about that.
that's coming into Game Pass day and date. Yes.
You got the Eodine Chronicle 100 Heroes. So the next part of that one, you got Flintlock, which was also a standout for me. We got Hollow Knight Silk Song. Listen,
You say Liza P?
Liza P. Yep, I mentioned it, and we of course have the major standouts of the Redfall and Starfield. Man, this is a crazy year. There's no two ways about it. If you're not a Game Pass subscriber, you are losing out in some fashion. As far as expectations, I expect to be blown away. To me, they failed us in not in Game Pass last year, because I agree with you, Boom, where that was at least a B, because we did get a lot of quality games. I gamed a lot. If you looked at my list of my Xbox True Achievements graphic, I played over 100 plus games and completed so many. Yeah, and I got a ton of games that I got through last year just off the strength of Game Pass alone, and I expect this to be even more so ridiculous this year because of it. So I don't give them any slack on as far as that goes, but we have to hold them accountable as far as first party. But this year, at the very least, we have 8 first party games dropping to the Xbox ecosystem off Game Pass and in general, and on top of the third party games we're getting. I mean, we're going to be eating good, so I expect the most. I don't expect them to have middling anything. I expect every game that drops to be within the 80 to 90 range. I'm just going to be real with you. As ridiculous
100%.
as that sounds.
No, I think those are expectations that have to be hit. Sorry.
And I think most of them will do it. I'll be honest. I mean, and it's something to be said about these reviewers, right? Because I could say that, but it could still review poorly, but be great games. I look at High on Life, for example. I gave that an 8 out of 10. They gave that terrible review scores. And I disagree with them 100% on them. You know what I mean?
Agree. Yeah.
So there is a case to be said of that too, where the reviews ultimately won't matter. But I expect the games to at least be great. I don't care what the reviewers give it. I just expect a well-made, properly functional, full-fledged game when I get it. I don't want to have, we'll give you this patch for this, to finish the game some other time. I want the game to be ready, polished, and in our hands when they're supposed to drop. And I think that's fair enough for us to expect. I just expect great games, and I think we're going to get it. That's the beautiful part about it for me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think they are going to deliver. I don't know whether you saw. We're going to talk about it on Monday's Xbox lunch break special, because I'm waiting for some backroom news. But apparently, there are several people that are playing through Starfield right now, and they are according to what the reports are starting to trickle out, they over-delivered. That is the word being thrown around. Over-delivered. Yes, please. This is what we've been waiting for. 3/23/23. I called it. Remember, I said it first. That's when it's coming out. But listen, Dave, let's get your opinion, brother. Xbox, that is your favorite brand, no doubt about it. You do have all the other consoles. You support all the other consoles. This is the kind of year that Sony has had in 2018. They had it again in 2019. They had it in 2020, right? They had several back-to-back years where, they dropped some very heavy first-party games that were commercially successful and critically successful. That's what we're expecting Xbox to deliver, and tenfold. And from what I have heard behind the scenes, we are getting more than we have even heard. What are your thoughts, brother? What are your expectations?
Well, and my expectations now are extremely high because of the magnitude of what's been announced. I mean, there's, we've got the Monster Hunter and the Persona games and just all this other, coming in. There's like too many to mention that are coming in just this first, quarter, which is going to be awesome. Also want to say too, everybody in the chat, if you get a chance, please hit the like button for Boom. Please share this out if you can. This is a good episode. Lots of great panel members. Look at all these guys here, man. This is awesome. You hardly get this anywhere. It's awesome. I tell you, I did. I mentioned on and it was just in kind of in passing to dealer. I asked him. I said, who do you think is playing? Who do you think's played Starfield? And he said, kind of hinting that maybe he was one of the people that have been lucky enough to get the build, because he's had the privilege before of playing games. And of course, he wouldn't say anything, and I didn't expect him to. I just expected him to come up with some off the wall answer. And his response was, "I bet Phil's playing it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I bet you Phil is playing it." And
I would imagine so. Head of Microsoft Gaming, he's probably playing it.
yeah. And but I mean, man, this is all this stuff coming out. I mean, it's a win-win. It's $15 a month, and man, when they have this show coming up, which we hope is soon, we've heard rumors, we've heard a lot of people speculation, but until it's announced, it's still just a rumor until it's announced. But once it is announced and we can lock in something, and Boom schedules that special event show, I'm there with you, buddy. I'm already throwing my hat in the ring for that one.
You're getting the first call.
Oh, dude, that's going to be so off the chains. And they really, man, Game Pass family they really need to unleash the beast.
I think they do at that show.
Man, if they do, and then plus all these great titles coming, you're going to have so many people joining Game Pass. I mean, gamers are gamers, whether you're a fan of another platform or not. If you really enjoy playing games and the accessibility is wide open to you, they're going to jump on it. And this is, like Pong Soul says, is the golden age of gaming. Well, it's here now. This is the year that I think we really, because there's a lot of Starfield. That's all next gen. That's all next gen gaming. It's not going to be they're supposedly streamable on other platforms like you will be devices. But as far as the high-end console and PC, it's going to be cream of the crop, baby. Top level. Can't wait.
Yep, I agree. I absolutely agree. Fuzzy, let's get your opinion on this, brother. Expectations. Just a moment ago, Dave mentioned, if and when we are imagining, at least I think that the family plan that has been announced already is going to be officially announced for the United States during this, rumored show.
Yeah.
You can't argue value proposition.
I mean,
there is something to be said about there's no longer going to be a conversation where Xbox Game Pass is packed with fodder. That's why it's so cheap. What are your personal expectations for 2023 and beyond? Is this Xbox's time?
I think so. And these first 6 months will be telling as far as, well, a lot of the games that we know to expect and a lot of the ones that were mentioned, plus a few surprises in between. I think this show is going to unveil probably a handful of games that we weren't expecting in Game Pass before E3. And then, come E3, whether they do another 12 months or if they change up the flow a bit as far as for the remaining balance of 2023, I think this is going to be the year that we see them hitting on all cylinders. Now, sure, half of those cylinders are going to be first party stuff where these are the things that we expect from them as far as for Game Pass, but I think there's going to be a lot of other surprises from third party as they've continued to grow market share in comparison. Yes, I know 30 million consoles of PlayStation, but they're in the mid 20s, or I would say low to mid 20s right now as far as consoles sold as well. So they're not anywhere near like the previous generation where it was like a 4-1 or 5-1 bashing. It's not even 2-1 for that matter. It's more like 1.5-1 type of thing, if anything. But I think as far as my expectations, I'm hoping we get a show before the end of this month. There's supposed to be some possible news early next week, so we'll see. I'm on that same train of thought as far as the 32323 for Starfield, and I wouldn't be surprised considering a lot of people are talking about it, and like Web David said, I wouldn't be surprised if Colt's playing it. I mean, sure, NDA, he's not going to be able to say anything, but
right.
I'm almost certain, considering I know that there are people that are playing, Forza. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them. The new motorsport.
That's a disgrace right there.
But I know, since there are people doing that, I can only expect that there is the same for Redfall, even because of the earlier beta tests and things, as well as for Starfield. And from the people that I know that even work for some of these studios or contract at some of these studios, there's a lot of good stuff buzzing in the background as far as what's in store for us here, as well as things like, updates for, Horizon 5 when it comes to the DLC, or, Ghostwire Tokyo when it hits Game Pass, the extra content that it's going to have. So this year is going to be pretty stacked. I mean, if any year is going to be the year of the backlog, I think 2023 will be that year. But man, I can't wait. It's one of those things where now, especially with me playing a lot of stuff on PC just because of mods and things like that, I can't wait for Starfield to drop. I can't wait for this.
I can't wait to see what the mod community does with that, because someone actually, Brett Brigham in chat drops a very generous additional $5 super chat and says, "Once I'm playing Starfield, I'm gonna make my ship look like a TIE fighter." Pew pew.
There's going to be so many mods for both Star Wars and Star Trek in that game, and just other stuff that I can't even fathom to imagine just yet. I know there's going to be a Halo,
ladies and gentlemen,
crossover
is Boba
stuff
Fett ship Slave One. Give me Slave One, and I'm never gonna stop playing that game.
But man, this. I know we've said this before. Oh, this is the year. No, this is actually the year.
This is the year,
and there is no doubt on that one. Especially considering the stuff that we already are aware of that's in the queue for the first 6 months. So I totally expect that this is going to be a killer year in general, and even with third parties completely outside of Game Pass and stuff, it's going to be a killer year. So, like I said, this is the year of the backlog. If you have some extra time off you can take, or retired like myself for Boom,
I'm still trying to work on games for 2022. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know. It's a shame. I'm like playing like 5 or 6 games at once, and I freaking hate doing that. I hate doing that. Like, I can't get away. I just got back to the Gotham Knights, and I don't care what people say about 30 frames. That game is freaking awesome. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to put it down. I got to get back to so many games. So this year, I agree with you. Year of the backlog. It's you know what? Hashtag Xbox has too many games. I'm gonna make that a thing.
This is like the third, fourth generation of the backlog for me. Mine's is ridiculous.
Yeah, it just some games are just at this point are just never going to get played, and that's such as life. Unless the gaming industry blows up and it dies, then we can get back to those games. I don't think it's going to happen. Crispy Bomb, let's get your opinion, brother. You have been banging the Xbox drum. This is the year. This is the year that we've all been waiting for. What are your thoughts?
Well, it better be. Boom, better be.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
You gotta think about this now. Nobody even brought up Forza Motorsport as well, and they're going. I'm gonna tell you right now, this game's probably gonna go crazy on PC as well, because that's what Xbox does now. They embrace PC as well, and releasing those games, they get the full revenue off it for the most part. Like they love PC right now, so you're gonna see a lot of games like getting scooped up. I mean, Starfield, come on, let's be honest here. That's gonna be a juggernaut.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, and if it's exceeding what they expected, my God, like, you're going to see channels completely devoted to just modding certain aspects of the game.
Oh, dude.
Like, people do this already.
You know what? I mean, look, I'm an old school cat. Anyone remember the original Battlestar Galactica? Could you imagine flying in one of those ships?
Oh yeah,
I remember it, but I did prefer the remake. I won't lie to you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I like the Cylons looking like robots. That's just me because I'm an old school MF. But I would love. I mean, there are so many ships that I would love to just fly around. Again, for me, as I'm a huge Boba Fett fan, and I love the character. I love his ship. I hope that I will figure out a way to play that on PC if a mod comes the way of Boba Fett's ship. I'm telling you right now. But I know there's a lot of Trekkie fans out there, a lot of Doctor Who fans. This is going to be a game that really tests the limits of what the creators of the mod community can do. I cannot wait.
Yeah, and if you really look at it, like if it comes to the point where before E3 we're gonna have a racer, we're gonna have an RPG, you're
Yeah.
gonna have a first person like sandbox shooter,
Yeah.
okay, with a
Crazy.
story involved and multiplayer. So you got a little bit of everything. You're not including all those other games that Umbra was talking about. Some of those are gonna come out the first 6 months. I mean, I'm expecting. I'm hoping that, if everything looks the way it looks, January show is just going to go over what's coming out before E3. And then we see some things we didn't even expect.
Yeah.
This E3. Because, I think they heard us and said, we got to give a little something, that one more thing. Like we do like that. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to have a date or anything like that. You can give us the one more thing. Hey, like you could say, hey, all these games are 12, and this single one is going to come out when it comes out, and that's it.
Yep.
Whatever way you got to word it, and we are down for that. So, I mean, as of right now, I mean, Game Pass's value is looking like it's going to be through the roof, and this is where you go and say, I hope there's enough consoles for when Starfield drops, because that's the way I'm looking at it. Because when Starfield drops, people start playing it, gets out in the wild. People are, streaming it or whatever on Twitch. People are going to go crazy if it's as good as everybody's already inkling. So I can't wait for it.
I agree. I think you're onto something. And speaking with Retri yesterday, we had a great conversation on the new X Vlog Live. He was saying that based on what he's been doing behind the scenes, he thinks that we're going to get 3 times the amount of games this year in Game Pass than we got last year. Last year we got over 60. So he's suggesting, folks, that there are 180 plus games coming to Game Pass this year. Think about that for a second. For your $15 a month, it's sick.
Hey,
but let's get Dread. Yeah, you want to say something, Dave?
Just quickly, and on top of all that, once the ABK deal is done, there's going to be a lot of ABK games dropping into Game Pass,
including Diablo dropping into Game Pass in June, which is what is expected. Which is whoa, that's all I can say. Dreadpool, let's get your final opinion, folks. I got to get out of here for 12. Me and Mrs. Boom have an appointment, so I got to get out. I got to be out for a hard 12 o'clock. But Dreadpool, let's get your opinion on this, brother. Expectations for Xbox in 2023 and beyond. Are they going to finally deliver that killer year?
I think, excuse me, good morning. I think it's going to be, a November month in the whole year. They're going to put out a cornucopia, and all these games are just going to be flowing out of there because it'll just be too much of stuff in there. And there's so many games that I see, and it's funny because we're still talking about the games that are going to be in Game Pass that are from Xbox, but we're still going to be flooded, and that's the funny thing too. We're not going to be stopped from the flood of third-party games or indie games or any of that stuff. We're everybody's talking about backlog. We're going to see so much, and whatever they're going to show us, the stay tuned for more would be really cool. I try not to expect anything, but the anticipation right now is definitely killing me. To see what they possibly could have. And I mean, we have so many games just that you guys have all listed. You guys have listed so many to go through, and I just can't wait to play with my friends. I can't wait to get on the party chat and just jump in and play with everybody. Just join the group with
Tree?
Yeah. Yes.
Me too. Yes.
Yeah. So everybody's been really cool, and and I'm watching. Literally, this is what we've been talking about with these community game nights. We've had them for how many times, and they come and go, and everybody's trying to do something. Well, here's a group that's actually talking and getting together, and that's what I see. The community yet again.
That's what it's all about, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it is community, right?
Yeah, and that's what this is about. We're going to be a community playing these games coming in as they come in. So nobody's going to get left behind, other than the fact that once we have too many games, we're going to be split up and trying to figure out which games we're going to play together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and that's the beauty of it. That's what I'm excited about. I mean, how many games we have? You know, we can list all this stuff. And with the show, I like what Crispy said. One more. Oh, and another thing. Here you go. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
So,
it's going to be the year we've all been waiting for. I think that there's literally going to be too many games. Like,
wait.
honestly, yeah.
Too many games? No. I think there'll still be Xbox has no games, because it'll be Xbox
Maybe.
has no games for me, man, because you guys got it all. You took it away from me, man. There's no way.
Yeah,
That's what we'll hear. That's the type of games we'll hear on Twitter.
Well, listen,
People
if
playing
you're part,
the
if
wrong
you're,
kind of
if,
game.
I put it this way: if you see that there are people out there touting Xbox has no games, just mute them or block them, because at this point, they're gonna. Again, like I said, folks, they got to deliver. They have to deliver. On paper, right now, it looks like a banner year, but this on paper thing has to be transitioned into reality. We got to have the games in hand. We have to have 90 meta games with no bugs and no breaking stuff, and not having to wait for a patch and having servers shut down. They got to work. They got to be high quality. They got to be reviewed well. And again, at the reviewed well thing, I that's subjective, because we as you can see, 86 sites reviewed Stray as a PlayStation exclusive. Yeah, you're curious as to how many sites reviewed a High on Life? 31. Think about that for a second, folks.
And
That's
that was
so odd,
and that
right?
was after too. Like after, it was like some days or whatever, a week after, when they saw a lot of those came in, right?
Yeah, a week after. Yeah, because at first it was like 22, topped out at like 30 something, 31, 32. Look at this disparity. Stray, PlayStation 5 exclusive, great game, not game of the year, but great game. I love it. I'm quite enjoying it. I'm halfway through. 87 plus reviews, 87 sites. High on Life, 31. I'm just saying that the bias is real, and that's another perfect example. But ladies and gentlemen,
Well, just here's the thing though.
yeah,
Here's going to be the analogy. You ever seen a steam train, a locomotive ever start? Right, they're shoveling in the coal, getting that fire burning hot, trying
and
to
then
get
the
that
wheels
water
are
going.
spinning. Yeah,
The wheels just kind of turn and then spin and turn and slip, and they're like, and finally, when that train, that locomotive starts going, there is no stopping. This is what's going on right now with all these Xbox studios. They're all slipping. They've been slipping, but now they're gaining momentum, and this is what's going to happen. They're going to start plowing through everything. They're going to have to put that cow plow thing in there to move those cows off the track, and that's what they're just going to plow through everything.
I just want to say, it's going to sound like, some fake endorsement of Game Pass, but man, or Xbox, but man, when you really just stop to think about not just first party but third party games coming to the platform, to Game Pass, and just in general the games that's coming this year, especially if you're a multi-console gamer, man, this is literally about to.
It's going to be hard to ignore.
Crazy,
like
absolutely.
At some point, because like I said, value proposition isn't just the word of the day. You have to understand something, folks. It is expected in 2023 that the recession that nobody wants to admit in the government is real. Is going to be the spotlight is going to be on there, and it's going to hit its worst it's seen. I just saw the top 5 things that you're going to have a hard time. Mrs. Boom showed it to me. The top 5 things you're going to have the hardest time finding in 2023. You know what was number 2?
What's that?
Bread.
Wow.
Think about that for a second. How much we take for granted. If you want to go make a nice bologna sandwich or a P&J, you just go to the cupboard and you get your bread. And I went to Stop and Shop the other day, and it was like like The Last of Us. There was hardly anything on the freaking shelves. And I know that I people make fun of me for bringing real life into the conversation. Real life is real life. So there is going to be a conversation to be had with people who have families living in a household that don't have the spare money for entertainment. and they're going to have to potentially seek a different way to remain a part of the conversation in gaming. And Xbox is the only platform allowing for that. And when they announced a family plan, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be on like Donkey Kong. But with that said, I got to get the F out of here because, like I said, we have an appointment for 12:30. I had to get out of here by 12. A huge thank you to the ridiculous amount of super chats. And, of course, I got to thank out Robert Jones. Because of him, I'm going to talk with Mrs. Boom. We're going to see if the finances hit. We're probably going to add an additional 5 copies and give away 15 copies. Again, we got to make sure the money's add up because we got to put the money away. And and obviously, if it comes out in the next 2 months, we're going to have to put up that money, which is fine. We will do it, wholeheartedly. What we originally announced that we were going to give 10 copies away of Stalker 2, not Game Pass, actual purchased copies, so that team and their families reap the rewards of the sale. Because of Robert Jones's ridiculous $450 super chat, we're gonna play with the numbers, and we're gonna see if we can add an additional 5 to that, making it 15 copies that we will be giving away on a special Stalker 2 podcast that we're going to do. It's going to be a launch podcast. Again, like I said, I'm working on trying to get some of the developers to be on with me to do that, and we'll make that announcement as soon as we have it. But big shout out to all the super chats that came in. Every dollar counts, and it helps more than you possibly imagine. Channel membership is big. I know we have over 100 people that are channel members. If you want to, simply go to the website. Go to YouTube, right in the right-hand corner, become a channel member, super easy. And in the first quarter of this year, I just had a meeting yesterday with the artist known as Ben Kenobi. We are finally launching 5 new designs for merch for Double Barrel Gaming. We're going to show those designs as soon as he's done with them.
Nice.
All of the shows, including Double Barrel Gaming, are getting a refresh. And we will be then launching our finally, if people have been asking for it, we're going to have our own merch on T-shirts and sweatshirts and cups and all the bells and whistles. You're going to have it, and we're going to be able to deliver it. And as soon as he's done with the artwork, we'll make that announcement publicly. Shout out to Ben Kenobi, who's amazing. But let's get to the outros, and we'll start first with our guest.
Hey, Boom.
Infinite. Yes, sir.
You just got a nice
to interrupt you. You do have another super chat dropping in there right now.
Okay,
just the generosity of this community.
This is big. Decado, good friend of the program. He's here every day. He just dropped $100 super chat. Now listen, he says this: can't go hard like Robert, but I will chip in as well. Let me tell you something, brother. $100 is ridiculous.
Yes.
$5 is ridiculous in my opinion, because we're not owed anything. We don't do this for money. We do this for the love of you. Mrs. Boom and I put our heart and soul into this channel. Everyone that I work with that is a podcast member or a part of the show puts their heart and soul into this, into their own channels. We do this for the love of the industry. Decado, once again, brother, that is incredibly generous of you. Thank you so much. Wow, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't even know what to say. And we did have another one come the way of Highlander 001. He says, this after dropping an additional very generous $2 super chat. I want the SDF1 from Robotech. Have you ever watched Pong Soul? He has one. I just freaking commented that on Tuesday.
Yep. Yeah,
you look on his right shoulder, he's got, I had that as a kid. Because I'm a huge Robotech fan, or Maycross if you want to be proper, right? Mm-hmm. He has that. He actually has Jetfire as well, which he showed on camera.
When I was a kid.
I'm so jealous. I'm not even going to. But let's get to the outros so I can make this appointment with Mrs. Boom. We'll start first with our guests. Crispy Bomb. Dude, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. Love your opinion. You have the best voice in the business when it comes to... See, that's the thing. Umbra is a good singer. You should be a game character. Sell your brand, brother. Talk about where they can reach out to you on social media. And thanks for being here. And, of course, I'm glad that you and your family are feeling better.
Yeah, we're getting there, and it's great to be back. It's at Chris's Bomb on Twitter, Chris's Bomb 28, Xbox Live. You can find me the regular schedule. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Retro Renegades. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Primetime Gaming. Thursday, 8 p.m. Next podcast. And probably be doing whatever else I can because, it's been a while. 2 weeks been too long. It's time to, throw my voice back in there and let's go.
Yeah, well, listen, it's great to have you a part of today's show. Love the passion that comes with your opinion. You don't jump on the vines and swing around on console war shenanigans. You talk from the heart. We appreciate it. Let's welcome in Infinite Umbra. Umbra, thanks so much for popping in, brother. I mean, listen, you were a surprise guest. We're glad to have you here. Of course, you knock it out of the park. Talk about the Xbox Infinite podcast, where they can check you out tonight. You have two really big guests joining you. Talk about it, and where can people reach out to you on social media?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It was a pleasure to join. It's funny joining in this early, like right after I get off. It's fine. I'm not tired. It's the part, I guess, of waiting until like 11, whatever my time. Then I'm like, oh Lord.
Yeah, you fall asleep. It happens.
Yeah.
Now you know how I feel sometimes.
I can imagine. Yeah, but hey, it was a pleasure to join. When I saw the open invite, I'm like, hey, let me get in here and talk some games. But yeah, it's a pleasure always to talk with you guys, and for the chat. You guys are dope. So I actually really do enjoy being here talking and actually communicating with you guys too. You can find me on Twitter, of course, under Umber Infinite or Infinite Umber. You'll find me either way. And of course on Xbox Infinite on Fridays, which is today. Come through tonight, 7:00 Eastern. We have KY Bob and the good brother J Rock.
Yes.
They're bringing some slander. J Rock.
I'm sure both of them are going to bring slander. Yes.
Yeah.
It's in the backpack.
It's happening. So you all come through and support us, and say hi to us if you can. It's on Riskit's channel, so you'll find it there. And yeah, man.
He seems to say that you stole his name. I don't know how this litigation is going to go, brother. I don't know.
I heard him say that. I've argued with him in the background. I'm like, you just gonna allow him? Yeah, I did it before you. I'm like, I don't think you did, but it's whatever. But yeah, thanks, Boom, for having me, man, and of course to you guys, Fuzzy, Crispy, and Dread for joining. I know you're feeling sick, and Dave, of course. Yeah, man, it's always fun to join and talk with you guys. Just talking gaming. I love talking gaming, so I'm always there for that. I
appreciate it very much. Shout out to Kay Asante, who's vacationing with his family. Thanks for being here, brother. Shout out to Cammy28, who's here. She's always here, always supporting the channel. Thank you so much for that. Super appreciate it. Dreadpool, I'm going to sell your brand for you because you put it up on the screen for everyone to see. You can find Dreadpool at youtube.com/Dreadpool, linktree.com/Dreadpool, Twitter at Dreadpool, TikTok at Dreadpool, hover.gg at Dreadpool. You can find them on Gaming Beyond the Box on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That, of course, is Wilmy Hood's show. And you can also find him on Breakfast with Boom, obviously. But you can also check out Breaking Bread with Dread. And he's on the hunt in 2023 to hit 1K on his channel. He's at 757 the last time I checked.
777 now.
There you go. The lucky sevens, folks. I mean, listen, we have almost 400 people still here. Get over there. Click on his thing. Subscribe for Boom. Subscribe for him. Let's get him to 1,000.
Yeah, we got Kay Asante last week. So
we certainly did.
Got him over
Absolutely.
That mark, and that was great. Bravo to you guys. Thank you again for everybody that showed up. I also became an affiliate partner with Insta360. Those 360 videos that I do. And some of the After Effects that I do with the videos, so that way you can only see one view. They partnered with me, and
nice, good stuff, dude.
How's
That's
that,
excellent. Right? Well deserved.
Yeah, I dropped the links in there. If you guys want to check it out, you get like a free accessory for certain cameras, and you can't beat that. Some of that's if you guys are interested in what I do or how I do, those are the cameras that I'm using. So,
yeah, absolutely, brother. Well, listen, congratulations on that. That's huge success. Well deserved. You work super hard on your videos, and I love to see the accolades. Again, when you're a positive community member, and it's incredibly well deserved. But listen, let's get Web Dave. Web Dave, obviously, you had a really big interview pop out this Monday. She is an icon in the industry. She is a huge part of what Xbox is all about. And of course, that is inclusiveness, that is acceptance of others. Talk about that, and what else you got going on?
Just to make that quick, it's Miss Deus Geek. It's a great interview. I encourage everybody to go check it out, not just for my channel, but just to learn more about her and the things she does for the community. She's pretty amazing, and it's the community's better because of her. And
100%.
And Monday's interview is going to be Large and in Charge with Lord Cognito. That's the next one.
So
yes.
good.
Yes. And I got a few more coming up soon. I will be able to talk about as it gets closer. Don't like to give too much away. But you did say something earlier about Cylons. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, by your command, boom, we shall.
I love it. That is some good stuff. Yeah, Cylons were the joy. I had the toys. The toys are so cool, dude. Oh my god.
Me too.
I wish I still had them. Yeah. So thanks so much for being here, Dave. Again, congratulations. We got to get you to 1K this year. You got some stuff working on in the background. Can't wait for you to make the announcements on that. Looking forward to it. And last and no way least, Fuzzy Belvedere, sell your brand, brother. Talk about the best place for anything and everything racing, where they can find you in other shows, and more importantly, reach out to you on social media.
Oh, just want to thank you for having me on, and that this gaming community rocks. You guys are awesome. Thanks for everybody in the chat and everybody who'll catch this on replay later for joining us or tuning in. For anybody that wants to hear my rambles on anything gaming related or racing, or what I found most recently, the first-person shooters or tactical shooters on PC, just follow me on any social media. Just search for Fuzzy_Belvedere. Same thing for my PSN gamer tag. On Xbox, it's Fuzzy Space Belvedere. But thank you so much for everybody that joined us tonight. It was awesome today.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Again, a big shout out to all the super chats that came in. Thank you again for the absolute outstanding generosity. And like I said, Mrs. Boom and I will make the announcement later this afternoon on what we're upping the ante to. We just got to, we got to check the books. But I believe it's going to be raised by half, 50%. We're giving. We'll potentially be giving away 15 copies of Stalker 2. We'll be buying those. I will be buying those from GameStop. And again, not little Johnny down the block who has some fake codes. We're going to go to the source so that the monies is doled out to that family. And I'm actually hoping that Microsoft waives their 30%. This would be a big thing for the families and for the team. I hope that if they keep it, drop it down to like 12% just for this particular situation. I'm going to reach out to some people in Microsoft that I know to make that suggestion. I think that they should. They should back off on their 30%, drop it down to maybe what they do on Steam or Epic, where they charge I think they take 12%, if I'm not mistaken, rather than the 30%. I would love to see Microsoft for this particular game on this particular circumstance move away from the 30% cut for them and drop it down to 12%, so that more monies, 88% of that monies for Stalker 2 goes towards those families.
One more super chat, Boom.
Well, we got another one. Okay, let me just grab that real quick. We have a super chat coming in from Leonard Herrera. What's going on, brother? Thank you, Leonard. It's always a pleasure to be here. He drops a very generous $20 super chat and says, the heart of this great community is amazing. Indeed, it is. It amazes me at every show. But of course, I just want to say a big thank you again to everyone. I do want to close out the show with something that's important to me, folks. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.